friends and welcome to the channel. I'm Olivia, and if you've never seen my face before, you can consider me your fragrance fairy godmother. So for those of you who have been rocking with me from the very beginning, you know that I used to have a collection of body mists, but as time has gone on, I have so many fragrances in my collection that I don't tend to gravitate towards body mist very frequently. When I'm wearing a fragrance, I want something that is unique and long-lasting, and oftentimes body mists don't really offer that. But today I wanted to share with you my small collection of body mists and what I use them for specifically. So let's talk about that. I think longevity is a topic that always comes up when you're really into fragrances, and people want fragrances to last for an absurd amount of time, 24 hours if possible. But I don't know about you guys. Sometimes I want a fragrance that is going to fade away. Say if I'm going to the gym, I want something that's going to be light and refreshing, just as a pick-me-up, but I want it to be able to fade off. Similarly, I like to wear fragrances to work that I know if I don't have time to shower before I'm going out in the night and I'm going to be putting on a fragrance that's a little bit more beast mode, I want my daytime fragrance to have dissipated so that way I'm not layering conflicting scents. And I do like to use body mists as the cherry on top of the ending of my routine. I'll do a body lotion, a body oil, my main perfume, and then top it off with a body mist just to make it my own. And usually they're plastic packaging, so I don't have to worry about chucking it in my purse or my gym bag. So although I don't have a huge collection of them these days, I wanted to share with you the ones that I do have. For the convenience of today's video, we're going to go in order from most affordable to least affordable, and I think the last one is going to shock you guys a little bit because I couldn't believe the price of this body mist. So if you're into body mist, you're in the right place. So sit down, grab a little snack, and let's get rolling. First up is Pacifica French Lilac, and this is $12 for 6 fluid ounces. So as one would imagine from the name, this is a lilac fragrance, and I have such fond memories when it comes to lilac, and I feel like it's a criminally underutilized note in perfumery. There's a couple fragrances that I have in my collection and some on my wish list that use the note of lilac, and I use this as a topper on those fragrances because this smells so beautiful. It's accompanied with some other florals of hyacinth and heliotrope, and they're all purple florals, so they smell a little bit aquatic, very fresh, a little bit green, and just very powdery and soft. If you're not a floral lover, purple florals tend to be a little less heavy than, say, a jasmine or rose. These will smell crisp and green and like springtime. So if you're kind of sensitive to florals, this would be a great place to start. You can almost smell like the dew-covered petals, and this would be a perfect springtime fragrance, and it's super duper affordable. And they do have a perfume concentration of this. I believe it's around $25, but I like the body mist as a nice pick-me-up, and for a body mist, it does last a decent amount of time. And these ones are alcohol-free, so you can put them in your hair as well. Next up, I have 3 from the brand Saltair, and these are $14, but they're 8 fluid ounces, so this one technically is a little bit better of a value, but they don't come in a smaller size. And what I like about these is you can find them at Target, and they have matching deodorant, they have body wash, they have body oil, so if you want to go for a full set, they're pretty readily available and they're really affordable. So let's start with Santal Bloom. So this is a musky, ambery sandalwood that comes off very creamy, and when I first smelled this, this reminded me of the OG version of Amber Romance from Victoria's Secret. And instantly I was flooded with memories of buying that scent for my mom as a kid, knowing damn well that I was the one that wanted to use it. I don't even know if she liked that fragrance, but come every Christmas time, I would beg my dad like, oh yes, we have to get mom all of the Amber Romance. And of course, I was in her bathroom like stealing little sprays of it. So if you liked Amber Romance, I think that you would definitely like this one. It smells creamy and warm and musky, and it's very similar, but I find this one to be a much smoother blend. And honestly, This one lasts a very long time for a body mist. The quality of these are great, and I'm impressed with the heavy duty packaging on this one. Typically we're only getting plastic, but this one is like an aluminum can, and it feels very luxe, and it smells very expensive, and this scent in particular layers with a ton of different perfumes in my collection. If you haven't tried anything from this brand, this is the scent that I would guide you to first because it's my personal favorite, but I do enjoy the other two. And the next one I have is called Pacifica. So this is a pear jasmine sandalwood fragrance, and this is going to be very reminiscent of a very floral fruity shampoo. This smells like a juicy natural anjou pear, a super green pear. It doesn't smell candied like something you would get in a Marc Jacobs fragrance because of that really strong floral element. I would say the jasmine is what you're going to get the most, and then underneath it is the pear, and then underneath it the sandalwood is not that prominent. If anything, I am getting something that's kind of musky, hence why it reminds me of a shampoo. This one's super clean and super refreshing, and another one that would be great for springtime. And a little hot tip, this layered with Petite Chérie from Goutal is so good because that has a pear note, and this emphasizes it a bit, and it is to die for. And the next one is called Pink Beach. This has notes of almond blossom, coconut, and vanilla. And this is going to be a very summertime fragrance, but it's not going to come off like sunscreen. Once again, there is quite a bit of florals in this one, and the coconut is truly very creamy and milky, but I get something a little bit fruity in this. I will say that I tried the body oil of this one and I wasn't as in love with it as the spray, so if you're considering a good summertime fragrance, use your discretion when trying the oil. You might like it, but it wasn't my favorite. And next I have some from the House of Phlur, and these are $20 for 3 fluid ounces. Now right off the bat, these ones are not going to smell like your standard body mist. These smell much more expensive and a little bit more elevated, so if you were looking for something that doesn't have that classic Bath & Body Works kind of young feel to it, these smell very elevated. So let's start with Vanilla Skin. So this is a very woody, almost spicy vanilla fragrance. It's warming and sweet, but sits on top of that base of agar wood, giving this a lot of depth and a lot of presence. This smells way more expensive than it is. This reminds me of Absolute Aphrodisiac by Initio, and that is an incredibly expensive fragrance. I think it's over $300. This is kind of reminiscent. There is something that's slightly animalic about it in a way that I enjoy. It's not dirty and it's not like poopy. It just gives it this kind of sexy feral sort of vibe. Does that make sense? If I were to compare these two, this one is going to feel much more dark and smoky, and this one is going to smell lighter and creamier and more amber dominant. And out of all the Phlur mists, this one is hands down my favorite. So if you're considering any of them, this one. And I think even if you were not a vanilla fan, you would like this one because it's more wood dominant than it is vanilla. It's sweet, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't smell kiddish or like a candle. I wore something that smelled like a candle yesterday and I was nauseating myself. I can't imagine how the people around me felt. Ugh. And next up is Amber Haze. Okay, this one is kind of a dupe to Baccarat Rouge 540. I'll just get that out of the way. The rumors are true, this one smells like Baccarat Rouge 540, but it's light and airy. It has a little bit of that mossy quality, and it creates this little ozone, this little bubble around you. So this is a good fragrance for day to day. It goes into the nighttime very easily, it travels throughout seasons, and it's kind of a no fuss sort of situation. So if you like BR 540, but you want something that is much more affordable and a nice touch up and easy going, this would be great. And I know that BR 540 and scents like it get a lot of hate. I think that it's become so popular that it's become cool to dislike that fragrance for some reason, but I actually just complimented a girl on it last night. I was at a play and I was walking behind her and I was a little bit too far away to go run after her. It would have been weird, but I could smell it and I knew she was wearing BR 540. So then as I was washing my hands in the bathroom, I finally turned to them and I was like, which one of you has really good perfume on? And you know what? They were gatekeeping with me. They were gatekeeping. They're like, oh, know, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I was like, yeah, but which one of you is wearing Baccarat Rouge? And the girl's face, she was like, me? I am? I was like, girl, you're gonna gatekeep that from me? Come on now. Sharing is caring. I digress. These two together, layered, smell wonderful together because you're getting the jasmine and the saffron and the oak moss in this, but then you're getting that warm, woody sweetness out of this one. So these two together, really good. And lastly is Mango Mood. So you are getting a mango in this, but this is not going to be your summertime, super juicy, super light sort of mango, but rather this is kind of rich and deep. It is sweet because you do have some accompanying notes of brown sugar, you have a black currant, but there are also some grounding notes such as patchouli and a little bit of pink pepper to give it that sparkly, spicy pop in the beginning. And a lot of people say that this one smells like mango skin from Wilhelm, but with the sweet note of brown sugar, with the jasmine and orris, this actually reminds me of La Vie Belle. Now, don't come hating on La Vie Belle up in this house. I understand that a lot of people are sick of it. It's been super popular for a long time, and it can get a little thick and sweet and nauseating, but I personally like that fragrance. I do. I think you have to use it sparingly, but if you layer this with La Vie Belle, this adds a beautiful touch of fruitiness to it and helps to uplift the thickness that a lot of people don't care for in La Vie Belle. My personal favorite La Vie Belle, because they have a million flankers, is the iris version. It does dry down quite similar, but I wore the iris version with this and I smelled like a dream. You can hate all you want, I know that I smelled fabulous. And next I have quite a few from Sol de Janeiro. And these are $24 for 3 fluid ounces. So let's start with Cheirosa 71. This is a thick, sticky, sweet caramel vanilla. It smells sweet and sticky, syrupy, gourmand, like you would want to bite your own arm off. It honestly smells like an ice cream sundae with a bunch of caramel, some toasted macadamia, a vanilla ice cream. And this is another one that layers on top of so many of my gourmand fragrances that almost every time I wear a gourmand, I'll sneak a little splash of this over top of it just to give it that extra pop of caramel. And out of all the Sol de Janeiro, this one is most definitely the most sweet out of all of them. So if you like a gourmand, this is the one that you'd want to go for. And of course we have their staple scent, Cheirosa 62. Now this is also a nutty vanilla caramel fragrance, but this one is going to feel much more fresh and less sweet than the last one. The pistachio and almond come off less toasted and they give it a little bit of powderiness. I personally would not wear number 71 in hot summer days, but this one, if you like a gourmand, this one will do well in the summertime because this one is a little bit more fresh, a little bit more sheer, and it does have a jasmine to uplift it. So both caramels, both vanilla, both nutty, but this one is going to be more winter and this one is going to be more summer. And speaking of summer, Rio Radiance is summer through and through. You know the smell of your skin when you leave a beach day? That kind of beautiful sparkling scent that you've been outside and you have that little bit of lingering suntan lotion and it just smells like outside in the freshest way. That's what this reminds me of. This has a very prominent tuberose. So although this is a creamy coconut, it gives you that warm, sandy sort of feel. I would say up at the top is that tuberose. So this is very, very floral dominant. So primarily this is a white floral dominant tuberose with the undertone of a creamy, slightly sunscreeny coconut. And then in the base, you get that like solar warmth. I don't know how to explain that any better, but the smell of your skin after a beach day. This is another one that goes with so many of my summery florals, and this over top of Alien Goddess, particularly the intense version, so good. And next is Cheirosa 68. And this is another one that a lot of people compare to BR540, but personally, I find this one to be much younger, more fruit forward and light. This reminds me of the pink version of Ariana Grande Cloud. It's juicy and sweet, a little bit floral and very girly, and this one is another one that's perfect for every day, but it does come off a little bit young in my opinion. But it is quite a versatile scent that I don't really have to put a lot of thought into. If I just want to smell sweet and a little bit floral and just smell good, there it is. Is it the most groundbreaking? Not really. Is it a dupe to BR540? Absolutely not. Next is Cheirosa 40. The scent of this fragrance does not match the color of the bottle. Does anybody else feel like that? This is actually a warm, woody vanilla fragrance, and I wouldn't expect that from like a little shishi frou-frou pink bottle. And if you're wondering how it compares to the one from Phlur, the one from Phlur is a lot more smoky and dark and spicy, whereas this one is going to be the lighter version. It does have a little bit of fruitiness, but this smells very similar to Vanilla Woods by the Seven Virtues. And when layered, it is a beautiful combination. I wore it last week, actually. And lastly is their brand new scent, Cheirosa 59. And no, this does not attract spiders. I don't even know how that rumor came about. Apparently someone wrote a review on Sephora saying that this attracts wolf spiders, and it got a ton of attention, and this poor fragrance got terrible negative press. I don't even feel like I should have to say that, but it's kind of silly. I haven't had any spider bites since wearing it. And actually, this one has quickly become my favorite out of the Sol de Janeiro line because this one, once again, is very versatile, but it has that warm, cocooning, sweet, musky feel that I personally like a lot. It's a milky sandalwood. There is the note of a sugared violet, so it gives it that little bit of powderiness. I do get a little bit of a vanilla, but not super prominent. It's mostly just a creamy, smooth sandalwood. And I wore this the other day with In Too Deep from 5 Cents. This smells like a sugar plum fairy. This is a vanilla that is super bright and sparkling, not thick and creamy. This has a lot of citrus, but this also has a sandalwood. And when I smelled this, I was kind of reminded of something and I'm like, what does that smell like? What does that smell like? But since I had just gotten this, I wasn't terribly familiar with it, and then it just hit me. These two go together so well, and when layered, it is so good. You get a sparkling, citrusy quality from this one, and then you get an extra boost of that creamy sandalwood. Match made in heaven. Which, by the way, can I just say, this is hands down the best 5 Cents fragrance. If you're going to try any of them, this is the best one. It even bumps out of place the marijuana one that I like a lot from them, which I thought was impossible because that one's amazing. Next is Rare Beauty, and this one is $28 for 3.3 fluid ounces. I feel like such a dum-dum because the first time I tried this, I was in Sephora and I didn't realize that you have to shake it up. So I sprayed it out and it was like pure oil, and I was like, oh my god, is this super concentrated? No, dummy, you just didn't shake it. And this one is quite a bit different from the rest I have in my collection because this does not err on the side of sweet and fruity and summery, but rather this is a citrus, herbal tea sort of fragrance. It starts off very tart. There is some lemon zest, a little bit of pomelo, and some rhubarb. And the combination of the rhubarb and the tea almost give a slightly eucalyptus-y sort of experience, almost like spa-like. And there is the note of vetiver in the base that gives it that slightly dry, grassy, almost hay-like sort of touch in a very fresh way, don't get me wrong. It's cute. It's easygoing. Do I think it's worth $28 for how long it lasts? No. For me, it only lasts about 30 minutes, and if I'm going to spend money on a body mist, I at least want a couple of hours with it. It does last longer if you layer it with the body lotion. Personally, if you have to buy the body lotion and you have to buy the body mist in order to make it last, at that price, it's not really worth it, and I don't find it to be the most inspiring fragrance that you would need something like that. And lastly, we have Peaches by Ellis Brooklyn. And I simply do not think that you guys are ready to hear the price of this body mist. For 3.4 fluid ounces, this is $48. Needless to say, they did send this one to me because I'm sorry, I would never spend $48 on a body mist. You can get an eau de parfum concentration for that price. That is insane. But if money is no object to you, This does smell very good. I didn't want to like it. I didn't want to like it at that price, but it does smell very good. I mean, I guess they do have a smaller one for $35, but geez, that is still pushing it. It smells like you're eating a juicy fuzzy peach that's dripping down your face as you're sitting outside in the California summer, where you're getting the orange blossoms kind of dancing in the air. You're getting something a little bit clean, a little bit green. And there is a little bit of this powdery muskiness because it has orris, it has ambrette, which is a very nice touch, and it does have some musk. So it's sweet, but not in an artificial way. It's a little bit floral and fluffy and clean, a little bit green and a little bit musky. And it is a beautiful fragrance. I can't get over that price, $35 for a body mist, girl, come on. And if you're truly using it like a body mist, you would want the larger size. And this is $48. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop. But I will give it credit that it does bolster the peach in a lot of fragrances that have peach, but it's kind of in the background. I use that to kind of bring it out, and it smells great, but absurd. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. That's actually all the body mist that I have. In a shocking turn of events, have actually started to like layering perfume oils. And I recently got sent the most humongous package of perfume oil dupes from the brand Orena. Do you guys remember me showing you some body creams that are dupes, and they're so thick that you can hold it upside down and shake it and it does not come out? It's from that brand. So if you're interested in seeing my now blossoming collection of perfume oils, let me know. I actually have enough now that I could make a whole video on it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. If you want to hang out again, you know where to find me. I'll be here next Saturday, 10 a.m. PST. Be here or be square. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, can you just double check if you're subscribed to the channel? I try very hard on these videos and it would mean a lot to me. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Saturday. And until then, take care of yourselves, my friends.